What is up, YouTube? So Yuhi just released a new delay plugin called Color Copy, which, spoiler alert, is mind-blowingly awesome. And I'm going to do a quick introduction of Color Copy for you guys today. So let's dive in and have a look at this freaking awesome delay plugin. Straight off the bat, you can hear that this delay definitely has a lot of sort of coloration that goes into the sound. Obviously, that's where they got the name Color Copy, but that's kind of the core focus of the plugin. The focus on the plugin is their sort of unique feedback algorithms and the different ways that you apply them and stuff like that. And a lot of the time, you can only start to hear those sort of really shine in the feedback tails. For guys like myself who use a lot of long delay tails, specifically in build-ups, and it's a very big part of my sound design process, this is a winner. Because the plugin offers, all these different kind of sounds to choose from that are kind of predetermined for different coloration algorithms and stuff like that. So for those who don't really understand what I'm saying, I'm going to kind of go through it a little bit, and I'm going to show you what I'm talking about. But just as a quick sort of reference as to what it sounds like, this is the synth that I've got it running on at the moment. This is the sort of raw synth sound. So another really cool feature in this plugin is the fact that not only is the rate able to sort of change live while the sort of sound is playing, you also do get a visual representation of it here on the plugin, but it's also still locked to a time base. So you can just jump back to the original time and not have to kind of do those tricky automations. I'm sure you guys know from some of my previous tutorials where I did some of those kind of tricky delay automations and stuff. Things can get pretty tricky, whereas with this you can either just panic button and the feedback stops, or you just set the rate back to 0, or you set the regen back to 0, and Bob's your uncle. Just in terms of like the playability of the plugin, they've definitely thought about these things. I believe every control is MIDI controllable via this menu over here. You can just I've actually got them already assigned, as far as I know, to my MIDI controller over here. But that's, tutorials and stuff are for another episode. This is just a quick sort of introduction. Cool, so what I want to do now is I want to show you the effect that this kind of time base, tweaking this time base has. So you notice as I kind of ride that feedback or that regen knob and then tweak the color of the feedback, each one has its own specific type of color that it adds to the sound. And those are named with very sort of specific titles to help you. And the cool thing is you can actually sweep between those. So there's kind of infinite types of different sort of algorithms that you can kind of choose from by mixing between them as opposed to just choosing them. So that's a very, very cool thing that they've thought of. There's also various features in terms of like adding brightness. I believe this is kind of like a filter, and then saturation to the sound. So another very cool feature that this has is this little ducking, I'll call it a module over here. And what that allows you to do is to sort of duck the tails after a certain amount of time. And then when you set it to that amp setting, it obviously adds that kind of like sidechain effect. I'm not sure if you guys heard that, but that was what was happening there. And then another cool feature is not only on the inputs do you have the ability to kind of like do some tricky routing there, like choosing mono or cross, but you can also do it on the outputs as well, or you can mix them. So you can like invert and invert again, do all sorts of weird things. Here you've got this kind of like tap, which gives you the ability to change the sort of time at which the left is triggering to the right. And I believe it doesn't give you the ability to create your own sort of multi-taps, but what it does is it changes the sort of, if you guys understand how a delay works, it's almost like if you imagine how a tape recorder works, you've got a play head and a record head, and then through routing and feedback, you get that kind of delayed effect. Now, essentially what this setting is doing is it's changing at which point that playhead is grabbing that information. I'll show you guys the sound. And then you've got all these modulations and stuff which you can apply to different settings in the plugin. They've kind of thoughtfully decided which parameters are most likely to be controlled, and they've set a switch to like being able to modulate those. As I said, I'm not going to get too in-depth in this video. This is just a quick introduction. I'm definitely going to be doing some tutorials on this plugin because I'm pretty sure it's going to replace most of the delays that I've used up until now. So stay tuned for those tutorials. Also stay tuned for a full review where I literally pick apart this plugin and we have a look at a lot more of the features in detail, and I show you guys a couple of tips and tricks. So that was just a quick introduction. I wanted to get it out as soon as possible because the plugin was just released very recently, and there's still a few things that I kind of want to learn about the plugin, and I want to kind of like integrate more into my workflow before I start doing some tutorials and before I start with a full review. So yeah, anyways, I hope you guys enjoyed that. Let me know what you think in the comments. I'm going to post links to where you can grab this from Yuhi's website in the description below. Thanks a lot to the guys at Yuhi for sending this plugin out for me to check out. It's absolutely awesome. I'm probably going to use it, as I said, in all of my projects. A big thanks to IDM Mag, proud supporters of the dance music scene and my channel. So yeah, let me know what you guys think. If you like my videos, hit that subscribe button, hit that like button. See you guys next time.